Welcome to the Dice Tower, a series of video reviews about board and card games. Here are your hosts, Tom Vassell and Sam Healy.
Yeehaw! DiceTown! That sounded like a cowboy getting shot in the middle of the,
Girl cowboy getting shot.
Woohoo! Okay, DiceTown. DiceTown is a dice rolling game, shockingly, with a Western theme to it, in which players are rolling dice and trying to, the dice are special dice with poker faces to them, and you're trying to get different points through various means. Let me show you what I'm talking about. In DiceTown, players are trying to get the most points, and they're doing that here in this western town, and they're going to get points in different ways. Each gold nugget they have at the end of the game is going to be worth 1 point. Every $2 they have at the end of the game is going to be worth 1 point. There are a few cards in the general store that are worth points. For example, here, this stagecoach wagon here is worth 5 points at the end of the game. Although most of the cards here are special action cards. But there are some in here that are worth points, and then there are land cards. There'll be 3 that are shown here, and these are worth from 1 to 5 points. Incidentally, if you put those land cards together, you can make one super long landscape, which is pretty cool. But anyhow, what players are going to be doing over the course of this game is they're going to be rolling some poker dice here. They're going to be rolling 5 poker dice, and on these dice we have a jack, a queen, a king, a single ace of clubs. We have a 9 of hearts, a 10 of hearts, and we have a 9 of spades. Sorry, that's an ace of spades. I don't know why I said clubs. Each player gets a cup, and then simultaneously, players are going to roll. Now, here are the rules of the game. You are allowed to keep 1 die, and 1 die only, and then you need to re-roll the rest. So I say, ooh, but I rolled 3 kings. That's such a good roll. Well, then, I can keep two extra dice. I'm allowed to keep 1 of the kings for free. I can keep the 2 extra dice by paying $2 to the bank. You're also allowed to pay $1 to the bank if you don't want to keep any of the dice. So I keep those, and then I roll the rest. And then I roll, ooh, 2 aces. I'm going to keep that. But I got to pay another $1 because I'm only allowed to keep 1 die per turn. So I paid $3 to the bank. Hopefully you have enough money to do that. Everybody else is rolling too. So let's just pretend here that these are the rolls that everybody has done. Alright, so here's how the game works. We start over here at the gold mine, and we look at different dice for each person. At the gold mine, we're going to look at the 9 of spades. The 9 of spades. Well, this player has 1 9 of spades, and this player has another 1 9 of spades, so there's a tie. Well, at the beginning of the game, someone's going to be the sheriff, and the sheriff is going to be the person who breaks the ties. So, if this person's the sheriff, obviously he's going to break the tie in favor of himself, but if the other person is, there's no harm in saying, here, would you like $1 if you break the tie in favor of me? You can even give him gold nuggets or what have you, So, the sheriff will break the tie, and whoever wins the tie here is going to get gold nuggets. Hooray! From the bank. How many gold nuggets you get? You get 1 for every 9 that you have. So the winner there is only going to get 1. But let's say you had all 5, you get 5 gold nuggets. Then the person who has the most 10 of hearts, which is going to be this guy here, gets all the money on the stagecoach. They've robbed the stagecoach. After they've taken that money, all the money from the bank that was paid during this round moves to the stagecoach. Then the person who has the most jacks gets to draw cards from the general store. You're only going to get to keep 1, but you get to draw a card for each jack that you've done. So this guy only has 1 jack, so he just draws 1 card, and he keeps that card. Then the person in the saloon, for each queen that you have, you may draw a card from someone else's hand and steal that card from them, but you may only steal 1. So if you had 4 queens, you could draw 4 cards from another player's hand and keep 1 of them. Then the sheriff, whoever has the most, is the sheriff. This is also worth 5 points at the end of the game, and you get to break all the ties, which is a big deal. Then the town hall is different than the rest. You're not looking for a specific die here. What you're doing is you're looking for the best poker hand. And on the back of the cards here, you can see that it shows you the poker hands and which one's the best, in case you don't know. 5 of a kind, 4 of a kind, full house, a straight, 3 of a kind, 2 pairs, and a pair. So you can see here that this person has full house, which means they have the best hand here of these dice that have been rolled. Now, with this full house, then if there's a tie even between that, then you would go by aces beat kings, which beat queens, which beat jacks, etc. Now, whoever has the highest gets to take the bottom card over here, plus 1 extra card for each ace that they've rolled. So this person would get all 3 of these land cards to put them in their hand. Then, if you got nothing, let's say you didn't win anything, which is possible, then you go visit Doc Badluck, and you get to do one thing depending on the dice that you rolled. You can use one of the dice that you rolled. Some of the dice will let you take a land card from your hand and put it in front of you where it's safe and people can't steal it. Others let you take a card from the general store. Others let you steal money from everybody else. And others let you steal gold nuggets from everybody else. And then you go back and start another round. The game is going to end when either all the gold nuggets are gone or when all the land cards are gone. Whichever one happens first, the game is over, everyone counts their points, and whoever has the most points is the winner. All right. Well, what is this, our new thing now? DiceTown is a game, I mean, I'm inclined to like it initially just because you're rolling dice in cups and slamming on the table. And even though that's, you know, a lot of people get down on Yahtzee, but I like rolling the dice in Yahtzee regardless. This game is better than Yahtzee. There's a lot of things going on. But I'm going to let Sam start out by saying what he thinks, and then...
Well, first of all, it's a very simple game to teach. It's not difficult at all to understand. I guess there is a little bit of a learning curve, so that especially if you've never played poker or something like that, you're unfamiliar about the progression of hands. You know, what's the strongest hand as opposed to what's the weakest hand, that type of thing. So there's a little bit of a learning curve there. However, how the game flows, after one round, you've got it. Doesn't take long to learn at all. Of course, it takes time to build strategies and that type of thing, but you really can't have much of a strategy because everything is based upon what you roll. So you're kind of, it's kind of random at that respect. And there have been times where I've played the game and just totally got my butt handed to me because the dice just didn't roll the way I wanted them to. So there's always that. But it is a dice chucker. I love chucking dice, and it's got that flair to it, that kind of, you know, Wild West saloon feel to it, and I enjoy it. So I'm gonna say I like this game a lot. Well, there's a couple things. One is the game doesn't scale as well as it says in the box. It says 2 to 5 players. I can't imagine playing this with 2. Yeah. And 5 is a little tougher. 4 is kind of a sweet spot for this game. It works with 5, but 5 feels very constricted unless you pull out the expansion. Do you have the expansion? I don't know if I do or not. The expansion to me really changes this game up because each player gets something in the first and second place of each spot, and it can go up to 6 players, which can cause the same problems. But I thought the expansion for me is still one of my favorite expansions of all times. But I love the theme. I think, honestly, the theme comes through. Yeah. Because of the poker, because of the attacking, and for me, I think my favorite part of the game is the whole sheriff. Taking the sheriff and saying, if I slide you this $1, you'll break that tie for me, right? Right. And things like that. The sheriff is really a bigger deal than you might think. And so I'm a huge fan of this. I'm going to give this 2 revolvers up. 2 revolvers up? Well, that's what you use, full of dice. Dice shooting revolvers. Wow. Dice shooting revolvers. And they're 4-sided dice. Well, I'm going to give this 2 shot glasses full of sarsaparilla up. What's the difference between sarsaparilla and root beer? I don't know. I don't know either. But, anywho, we both like it a lot, and I think this one, for once, is still available, so you can get it. Yeah. Go ahead and try it out. You'll love it. I think you'll love it. Maybe he doesn't. Yeehaw!
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at DiceTower.com. You can also find the latest board game news at DiceTowerNews.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Fun Again Games, the world's best game source. Fun Again Games has over 5,000 games available. Check them out at funagain.com.